Not good enough. It's from Jonathan Smith. I think this is the conversation to have today. Why does he still have a job? And if there are Spartan fans out there who want to raise their hand and say, hey, I do think all this is premature. I do think he should have the job. Can you explain it to us? Because, John, did you watch any of his press conference afterwards?
Yeah, I watched the entire thing.
What was your read on that?
He looks defeated. He was coming up with answers that he didn't have answers to the questions. He just was saying words at that point, trying to get to the next question so he could get out of there.
Dead man walking. I mean, that's the vibe. There's no juice in East Lansing. Now, that was the big rivalry game to let it all hang out. And outside of the garbage time cover, they're down 31-13. And we can complain about an offsides call. Like, Spartan fans, I get it. Guy wasn't offsides, got a sack fumble. But that wasn't going to transform you guys into the D'Antonio Spartans. Jonathan Smith is not going to get it done in East Lansing. They've lost 5 straight games this year, all in conference, all by double digits. Go back to the end of last year, it's 8 of 9, all by double digits. What's the identity of this team? What's the thing they do well? What's the thing they're selling to recruits and fans? I mean, if you want to tell me it's too early and he could turn it around, what are you seeing that would indicate that? Does he have any kind of charisma at all? John, as the kids would say, is there any aura? He has negative aura. Mm-hmm. That matters. You're constantly selling yourself to recruits, to fans, to administrators. If I'm Jay Batt, you're dead. I'm brought in to be a big
for Michigan State, and you're looking at last year a little bit of a mulligan, right? First year, of course, it didn't go well. Second year, you need to see improvement, and against a team like Michigan, that's not a dominant Michigan team. And I'll give you the one penalty. It's 11 penalties still for 100 yards. Like, it's just not a disciplined team. You've got to be a discipline. If you're not executing and you're not building talent or developing talent, at least you should be developing a team that is going to give yourself a chance instead of shooting yourself in the foot.
And he was set up to take a bigger leap because he brought in some of his guys from Oregon State. You know, Cignetti did it with JMU guys. Mm-hmm. He brings his quarterback, highly touted, dual threat, big arm, and I've seen the tools. I mean, some of the throws he makes are NFL throws. Yeah. He does not look anywhere near an NFL player right now, so developmentally it's not happening. What about tight ends and offensive linemen? And you had 2 different portal classes, a chance to re-rack. Like, Sharon Moore had kind of a rough first year.
Right.
You re-rack in the portal, and while it's not perfect, you're seeing some improvement. You're seeing none in East Lansing.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. And if the argument is to, well, give him another year, what type of improvement do you believe will happen between years 2 and 3?
Tom threw out the possibility that they could lose every game in the Big Ten, something that's never happened in the history of Spartan football. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for. I've heard people suggest on the ticket text today, well, the bye week is after Minnesota, so maybe they do it during the bye week. So they need him to lose another game, his 6th consecutive game.
So I think, and most people thought, if they were going to keep Jonathan Smith, it was going to have to be a win against Michigan and.
Yeah, you jolt the program and then do something with it.
Yeah, Michigan, that game is come and gone, so it's not going to be Michigan and. It's going to be what is next. You've got at Minnesota, Penn State, at Iowa, Maryland. Of those 4 games, do you believe Michigan State's going to win any of them?
No, and without looking, I think they're underdogs in all 4. I mean, what's the most winnable?
Well, your 2 home games are Penn State and Maryland. Even though Penn State is, got an interim coach, I still think that's a talented team.
I mean, if I'm Penn State, I just copy Michigan's game plan and run for 250 yards. Just feed Singleton and Allen, right?
Yeah, and I think it's probably
Maryland.
I would say at Michigan State. Maryland's a home game, but they've got a very dynamic quarterback as well.
Yeah, they do. He's a freshman. He's Malik Washington.
Yeah.
Wait, what game did you say was the most winnable?
At Minnesota?
This week.
Yeah.
So the program is lifeless. Fans are apathetic. They don't care. They're leaving games early against the main rival.
I don't blame them.
Seeing a Big Ten win seems far-fetched at this point, although they might run into one. Who knows what those other teams are up to at
and honestly, at that point, who cares?
Right, exactly. This is Jay Batt needs to kind of go on his own and figure out what he wants his football program to be.
So he was a big fundraiser. That was one of the big selling points for him to be the athletic director is he can raise money. Well, they're going to need to raise it. The buyout's not tiny. It's what $25 million bucks.
It's also not the buyout. It's the next contract along with the next coaching staff, because it's not just your head coach. You're going to be bringing in an assistant coaches as well.
And I think part of it, though, is you're in the Big Ten where you do get record TV revenue more than any other conference in college football. You have multiple donors who are billionaires. And I know you can only go to them so many times, but there are rich Spartan alums that Bat needs to tap into, because the alternative is, fine, you don't pay the $25 million to buy Jonathan Smith out, and you light the program on fire and no one goes to any games, and you end up losing more money going that route. Not only this year, but then all of next year, where your program is dilapidated. You're sitting there watching fans in an empty stadium. It's good for John Jansen driving home from East Lansing, but it's not good for MSU.
But they needed to identify what they want to be. I think the eerie similarities to what the Lions were post-Patricia are very much in play here. It's completely broken. And so you hold up a mirror, and you see that, and you accept what we are. That's what Sheila did. Mm-hmm. And then she said, this is what I'm going to find what we need to be. Got great counsel from Chris Spielman, and it took off from there. And so Bat has to go to Ishbia, Magic, and other humongous donors and get the money to afford what they need to do to get this right. Yeah. And then whoever that consultant is or two, but I'll tell you who it's not, is their board and all their trustees and all that up there, because that's always been a mess. Yeah. He needs to go on his own and find the way.
It's just interesting. I was listening to Carson Anderson driving home last week, and Doug was talking about how this is just all a lot. How these coaches have the shortest leashes they've ever had. And this is just college football, and they're all compensated well, so you don't feel bad for the coaches.
No.
But he was kind of trying to come to grips with it on the air of just how quickly you have to win in college football. But, I mean, when Indiana is doing what they're doing, when there's not a barrier that stops Indiana from being in the top 10, or Vandy, I know it's taken longer, but when I'm living in a world where Vandy's in the top 10, it's just not an excuse for MSU to be and also ran.
No, but there's a lot more examples of coaches that have been hired and it doesn't work out. I think you're looking at what's going on in Bloomington, what's going on, just outside of Nashville. Those are exceptions to the rule. It does take other coaches a little bit longer. And you want to hire that guy that is going to have the turnaround and put you in the college football playoffs next year. Is there a Signetti that can come into Michigan State and make that happen?
But look at how they did it too. Like Indiana got impactful players via the portal the first and second year of Signetti. It's not like they waited for him to get his high school freshmen into their junior and senior and fifth year seasons. And while it's been more of a process at Vandy, a huge chunk of why they are where they are is the quarterback they got from the portal too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to take 4 or 5 years. And there's no guarantee it would, even after 4 or 5 years, work under Jonathan Smith.
Right.
So you do damage the longer you keep a guy like this. 248-539-9797. We'll hit the phones and the ticket text. It's 97.1.